Alright, let's dive into this because it's a big deal, and honestly, it's one of those stories that makes you stop and think about the bigger picture. So, Trump just announced that his Board of Peace has reached an agreement to disarm Hamas and other armed groups in Gaza. On the surface, it sounds like a massive step forward, right? Peace, disarmament, a new Palestinian government, all the buzzwords that make you think, finally, progress. But, personally, I think we need to dig a little deeper here. What makes this really interesting is the context. This isn't just about disarming a group, it's about reshaping the entire governance of Gaza. And that raises a deeper question: what does this mean for the people of Gaza? For Israel? For the region as a whole? From my perspective, one thing that immediately stands out is the phasing of the disarmament. Trump mentioned it would happen in phases, which, on paper, sounds strategic. But what many people don't realize is that phased disarmament can be incredibly fragile. It relies on trust, on all parties holding up their end of the bargain. And in a region as volatile as this, trust is a luxury. If you take a step back and think about it, this agreement is part of a ceasefire deal Trump brokered back in October, which was supposed to end Israel's devastating war on Gaza. But here's the kicker: Israel has repeatedly violated that ceasefire, killing over 1,200 Palestinians since then. So, how reliable is this new agreement if the foundation it's built on is already cracked? A detail I find fascinating is the role of the International Stabilization Force and the new Palestinian police force. Trump says Israel will withdraw from Gaza once disarmament is complete, and these forces will step in. But who are these forces? How will they be composed? There are rumors of Indonesian and Turkish involvement, which, honestly, could be a point of contention with Israel. This raises another layer of complexity. If Israel isn't fully on board with the makeup of these forces, could that undermine the entire process? What this really suggests is that while the agreement looks good on paper, the devil is in the details that are still very much up in the air. In my opinion, the international pressure on Hamas to accept this deal is a huge part of the story. Alan Fisher from Al Jazeera mentioned that Hamas was essentially backed into a corner financially if they didn't agree. This isn't just about diplomacy, it's about leverage. And that makes me wonder, is this agreement truly a step toward peace, or is it more about geopolitical maneuvering? What many people don't realize is that Hamas recently dissolved the governing body they'd led in Gaza for nearly 2 decades. This could be seen as a sign of willingness to change, but it could also be interpreted as a sign of weakness. Either way, it's a significant shift, and it's happening at a time when the Palestinian Authority seems to be losing its grip. One thing that's often overlooked is the human cost of all this. Over 73,000 Palestinians have been killed in the conflict, and Gaza has been left in ruins. This agreement talks about a new Palestinian government serving its people, but what does that mean for the families who've lost everything? For the children who've grown up knowing nothing but war? Personally, I think this is where the real test lies. Can any government, no matter how well-intentioned, heal those wounds? If you take a step back and think about it, peace isn't just about disarming groups or signing agreements, it's about rebuilding lives, restoring hope, and ensuring that history doesn't repeat itself. What makes this moment even more intriguing is the involvement of countries like Turkiye and Qatar. A U.S. official pointed out that their inclusion in the Board of Peace was initially criticized by Israel, but now it's being hailed as the right move. This raises a deeper question: are we seeing a shift in the balance of power in the region? Could this be the beginning of a new era where traditional players like the Palestinian Authority are sidelined in favor of more technocratic, apolitical governance? From my perspective, this could be a game changer, but it's also a risky move. Without buy-in from all sides, it could just as easily backfire. So, where does this leave us? Personally, I think this agreement is a crucial moment, but it's far from a guaranteed success. It's ambitious, it's complex, and it's fraught with potential pitfalls. What this really suggests is that peace in the region isn't just about agreements, it's about trust, about justice, about addressing the root causes of the conflict. And that's a much taller order. As we watch this story unfold, I'll be keeping an eye on how these phases play out, how the international forces are composed, and, most importantly, how the people of Gaza are impacted. Because, at the end of the day, that's what really matters. What do you think? Is this agreement a genuine step toward peace, or just another chapter in a long, complicated story? Let me know in the comments below.